Good evening and welcome to the network, Grim Reaper Network, along with Bear and also Mellows for this evening's chat. Hello to everybody who has turned up, all in Bear's chat and the network group.
Bonjour.
So we are all going to be, we're going to have a blast. I hope. Bear, can you just check that yours is transmitting, please? Oh, it is.
Yo. What, you mean to my channel?
Yeah, no, I've checked it. It's all right now.
Yeah, it's working. I can see too many of the riff-raffing. It must be working.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to try and have all three chats going, which is going to be rather amusing for me. So I can see what's is happening. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, today is marks a milestone in in history, right? And it fits in very nicely to what we're going to be talking about in the first half, or the first part, until I disappear anyway. There, you're oscillating. Thank you. I was going to pass you over to him, but he's obviously having some technical issues. So the first part of the show is regarding auditing, whether that be auditing here or auditing over in the States. It makes no difference to me. And we're going to have a discussion hopefully about it, is whether or not it's actually worthwhile doing, and does it actually change anything, etc. So we've got Frank Audits in, we've got Lindsay in, we've got JG Beckett in, Anne-Marie, Rex Sniffer, Cop Watcher 2, Aid the Baseman, UK Transparency, Vlogging with the Goths, Lothian, is that, have I pronounced that right? Yeah, and the only person we haven't got is Big Jig, so it should be a quiet night. Bear, are you with us yet? No, okay.
I'm fucking. I'm here, but whether I'm with it or not, that's another.
Okay, sorry. I forgot you haven't been taking your meds. So, what is it there that marks a milestone in auditing?
What marks a milestone?
Yeah. Oh, Big G is here.
An arrest.
An arrest. Okay.
That marks a milestone, I guess.
Well, no, I think that happens too often these days. Hello, David Bruce, and we've also got Poor Dirt Fowler. How are you doing? All right. So, how well is your channel doing at this present moment in time?
It's doing all right, mate. It's not doing too badly. We've just hit 43k, so we're doing all right.
43k.
Yeah.
And all those people out there who said that BBA won't amount to anything, he's certainly picking up subs and support as well, which is fantastic from that point of view. So on to tonight's topic. I want to find out whether auditing is worth doing, and basically what's it all about, right? So I've got an auditor up here, and I've got a supporter of auditors. So here's a good one for you. Why'd you do it? Why'd you go around pissing people off, sticking cameras in their faces?
Who would you like to answer that first? Me?
Either or.
Well, I'd like to start off by saying I never...
That's enough of that. That's enough of that.
I would just like to say I never stick a camera in someone's face. Okay, so that whole terminology of sticking a camera in someone's face is incorrect.
Well, I've seen it many a time.
What,
all you do is go out to antagonize people.
What, in their face?
You talk to them in a rude and crude way. You swear at them. I'm not just talking about the police. I'll come up to that separately. But I mean, do you do it for clicks and views, or what? What is it? Why do you do it?
For clicks and views.
To get some views.
Well,
of course.
Well, of course, when you put videos out, you hope that they get views, right? Or what,
Okay, so what is it that attracts people to watch it? Is it because you antagonize people?
I don't actually agree with what's being said here, but I do agree. So I'm not disagreeing with argument's comment. I'm going to highlight it, right? Hang on. Auditing is more about confrontation as a media interest. If there is no confrontation, people stop watching. I would say to a degree, I agree with
drama
that.
and entertainment. If there's no drama and entertainment, no one's going to watch it, bro. Right?
But hang on. No. I feel like originally that's what people wanted. Yeah, people wanted to see the confrontations and stuff like that. However, I would like to think, and I could be wrong, but I'd like to think that it's evolved a little bit to the point where the average viewer to auditing, they've kind of already seen all that now. Like they've seen the confrontations, they've seen, the negative side. So I think a lot of the viewers aren't necessarily looking for that anymore, actually. I could be wrong. I reckon there are still a load that just tune in simply for those confrontations. But I would say even as a viewer, you're not really viewing that content for the right reasons, not for what it's really meant for.
Right. Okay. So, because I was watching.
Your mic's going funny.
An auditor. Oh, that's it. Sorry.
Give it a kick. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, Nick,
like I've been out. I won't go into it too much because I know Grim wants me to. He wants to keep the reins in on me on this, but I've only literally just got through the door, people, from going to cover a Free Palestine protest. So I have been this evening and covered that, and not long just got back actually. Yeah. So.
No, the reason why I'm bringing the rings is I want to talk about auditing. I'm not at this present moment in time. What's happening in Gaza has no direct influence on me one way or the other. I would talk about that away from YouTube.
Is it just me? Your audio is crackling, or is it everyone else?
Put one in the chat if I'm crackling a lot. I mean, I know it's going up to
anyone
Halloween.
Mike is clipping, yeah. It's not just me.
Okay. All right, no worries. I shall drop out totally then. Try
and unplug the mic and plug it back in or something.
Yeah, I tried that.
Give it a kick. All right, so sorry.
Jelly bean. I'm gonna bring this up, yeah, just once. So I can't speak for Grims, but I think that's in my chat. If you're in my chat, please don't mention the name DJ. His name's not DJ Media, it's DJ E Media. And can we not mention him in my chat, please, people? And he's not confrontational. He's a woofter. I've seen him get chased away time and time again by security, man. So yeah, the guy is, yeah. I'm not going to bring it up, but just leave that name out of my chat, please, people.
Okay, well, I missed that. Sorry. Hopefully, the mic's not flipping now. But yeah, so I watched this video of an auditor antagonising the police as soon as they turned up. First of all, into a library. Went around filming people. They were told to get out. They turned around and said no. They were asked to stop recording because of potential confidential information, etc. And they refused to go. They said they've got the right to do it because filming in a public place isn't illegal. However, people were getting fearful of the fact that there was this auditor who was not being particularly nice and they were swearing, etc. Now, if that's auditing, then I think you can keep it. Because there you've got somebody going out of their way to deliberately cause a problem. Are all auditors like that?
No. No, they're not.
Would you like to expand on why you say they're not? Because what I've seen is totally different.
Well, for a start, the British auditors over here can't swear like they do in America because they have no freedom of speech. You can't just flip off a copper over here and tell him to go and fuck himself without getting yourself arrested. But in America, you can. It's a constitutional right, free speech, and it's upheld in the Supreme Court. You can stick your finger at the cop, even though they do try to arrest people. You can flip the guy off, and he's supposed to sit there and take it. You know, he can't be the complaining party. So, should we test that right? If we have it, yeah, you're damn straight, man. You know, if that's the right and you have it, you should be fucking exercising it and flexing. Give them all the fucking finger, they deserve it. Videos that I've been watching lately, yeah, they all need the finger.
I mean, okay, is there if an auditor?
But over here in the UK, I don't recommend you do that. No.
Well, I think you'd be arrested personally. Because you know, someone might actually hear what you're saying and be offended by it. I mean, there might not be anybody there.
You'd be arrested.
You still get arrested under Section 50. Don't forget, Section 50 is the way that the police in the UK like to go down inside of that, or Section 43, because they see people as terrorists who have a camera. They're going armed with a camera.
Even though it's not a major crime and it should be just a ticketable offence, but you will, you know, flip the wrong guy off over here, and you will end up in cuffs, and you'll go through the grind. You know, they'll take you and strip you down and keep you in a cell for so many hours.
What about auditors who constantly requesting money so that they can go out and about? From the people who watch them, the mugs, because they treat their supporters as mugs, or as a source of a money chain.
Well, look, I've been supporting auditors for years now, more than 5 years, and I've donated money to some of them, not all of them, but you know, under circumstances, I think. There were genuine circumstances where they needed money, or I felt that the need to contribute in my own small way. But I don't typically donate money to auditors regularly. I would rather give them my time. I'd rather build them a website. I'd rather help them in any other way, technically or whatever other way that I can. Then, yeah.
But
I mean,
do you not see,
I'll build you a website, for instance, that you might pay £1,000 for. I haven't got £1,000 to give you, but I could build you a website, no problem. Fucking build websites like I eat packets of crisps.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is the number of channels on YouTube that all they do is publicize their PayPal, their membership, super chat, buy me a coffee, etc. And they're constantly going on about it. I thought it was about, watching and supporting.
Look, are there people that do this for the wrong reasons? I'm sure there is, right? Are there people out there that deserve donations and funding to support their cause, whatever it is that they want to do? Yeah, there are, man. I mean,
can I just say, Oprah Winfrey, can you just put £10 million of your money directly in that hand?
Now, he's looking at going to jail, right? You've got Rogue Nation. The guy is a legend, right? He's looking at charges. He might end up doing a couple of years inside, right? While he's inside, right? How is his family, right, and his kids going to be supported? How are they going to live while he's there risking his liberties, right, to preserve, the freedoms in America? I mean, what's his family going to do? So do they need money? Yeah, they're damn right they need money. They need money for bail. They need money for lawyers. They need money. If you've got money and you feel the need that you need to support these people, then yeah, you should help them, But are there people out there that are begging for money and doing all this for the wrong reasons? Of course there are. But it's down to you to discern the difference between a grifter and someone who's genuinely going out there trying to change the world for the better, right?
But what are they trying to change?
There is a difference.
What are they trying to change?
They're promoting transparency and accountability within our government. And if you've got anyone out there that can challenge me and tell me that is a bad thing, right? I'd like to hear about it. I'd like to sit there and debate this person who thinks that keeping the government in check, keeping an eye on the government and making sure that they do what they're supposed to do, right, is bad, right? And we shouldn't do it. We should just comply with everything they say, even though it's wrong. Does everyone remember the Wayne cousins, right? I mean, do I have to list all these tragedies and disasters that these people have placed us in, right?
Hang on, I know you're passionate, Dr. Doom and Gloom, regarding the reasons why people do things.
They promote. Most of them that I know, that I speak to, that are friends with me, right? They do it because they want to promote transparency and accountability in their government. That's what they want, right? They want to see. They don't want, and me included, I don't want to see a video of my friend being violently assaulted, tased, and chucked in a cell for God knows how many years. I don't want to see that, right? I would rather see the police officer do what he was supposed to do. I would rather see a police officer stop someone who's about to do the wrong thing. That's what I want to see. I want to see change. I want to see people standing up and saying, no, that isn't right. And I'm going to stand up and say no.
Outlaw, so what if channels put PayPal links out, etc.? YouTube is a business and it's no one's business apart from the hosts. I agree. Totally. And by the way, I do actually agree with auditing. I've been watching a number of different channels of anti-auditing, and the questions which have been put in are the most common statements that are used. And if you haven't had chance yet, over on Mexican Longhair's channel, he went up on in a debate with an anti-auditor and put a very good case for it in the same way, well, not directly the same way as Mellows has got Dr. Doom and Gloom. The point that I was trying to make is these questions are what the trolls use. and that's just being nice and kind, right? And I turned around and said that what we need to do is have a chat with regards to, what auditing is actually all about, what standing up for your rights is all about, which is the more, it's what we're about, it's what I'm about. We in the UK, we don't have freedom of speech. We're not allowed, and you can't flip a copper off. You can't put two fingers up to them. You'll get done. They'll find it one way or another to cause you problems. And the point that I was making is,
do me. Can
you imagine that being put in your face? One of the things which the anti-auditors talk about is, why do you put cameras in front of people's faces? Well, I've yet to see any auditor walk up to someone and stick a camera in their face straight away. What I have seen.
Why do people feel the need to stick their faces in people's cameras?
Yeah, well,
and then say, "Why can you? I don't want to be filmed."
They walk up to you.
They come all the way from over there, and they come and stick their face in your camera, right? And they say, "Why are you sticking your camera in my face?" And then they get so upset that they're standing underneath. They're not upset with every other camera. They've got 10 cameras above their head. They're not upset with those cameras. They're not upset with the 10,000 cameras that they walk past to get to work, right? And then they're going to call more people with cameras, right? They don't mind their cameras. They're just your camera they're upset with, right?
Mm-hmm.
They discriminate against your camera because you don't have the right to stick your camera in their face. Even though they were all the way over there and they came all the way over to you, stuck their face in your camera, it's ridiculous. These people understand logic. Have they got a critical mind or something? Does anybody understand this? Can someone explain this? Teach me as if I'm stupid.
Maybe I am. That's not the one I was. That's the one. Was that?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. David said it's really summed it up, right? We do not have rights. We never have done. We are slaves. If rights can be taken from you for any reason, then it's never a right. Now, we don't have any rights at all. It's perfectly legal to film anywhere in public. Sorry?
I don't agree with that. I believe we do have rights, but we do easily give them up. Who says we don't have rights? The same people that say we have rights. So to say we don't have rights is the same as saying we do have rights. Really?
If we didn't have any rights, they wouldn't have any power over us.
Right. So we used to have the right to withdraw our labour and to stand up against the government as being united. But because the workers were too successful in bringing down a couple of governments in the past, all of the powers were curtailed and laws were brought into effect to ensure that it never happened again. That's thanks to Margaret Thatcher and her cronies. Now, the issue I've got is it's not that we don't have rights, we do. We're educated when we go to school in a certain way that makes you think that you don't have any rights. And that is the difference. I believe that everybody has the right to say how they feel. Problem is you've always got some sort of conditions on it. You can't say what you want to say in work unless you own the company. You can't say what you want to say to a police officer, a constable in the UK, because you'll get arrested for minor crap, to be honest. but the rights are
This is why
taken
we've got
away
to stop to this.
because we're not,
PK says
educated.
we have rights, but if we don't exercise them, then they are
We lose
forgotten,
them.
then lost through the back door. I agree with that. However, can we at least say that depending on how you're exercising those rights, you're actually also could be potentially put in at risk of losing them anyway?
Can I just point this obvious fact out?
That's what happened in the
on,
past with the. Hang on a second. That's what happened in the past with the unions, right? They had their rights. They had the right to do things.
Can I just point the big?
It was removed. Yeah, go on.
The reason why most people don't have any rights. Now, this is important. Listen carefully. The reason why most people do not have any rights is because they do not know them. How can you stand up for them and use them and exercise them if you don't know what they are? That's the reason why everyone's fucking not got no rights, because they ain't got fucking clue. They listen to this dumb copper who doesn't know anything, telling them, "Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that," and then say, "Oh yeah, all right," and they'll go obey. Because if they don't, they end up getting fucked up, right? The reason why people get fucked up is because they don't know their rights. They know they have them, but they don't know what they are. I'm sorry, if you don't know what they are, you don't have any. You can't use it.
I agree to a certain extent with that. And the reason why I say to a certain extent is because when you go to school, you are not taught rights.
No, you're deliberately dumbed down and de-educated.
Yeah. My twin, I will be going to sleep for a couple of hours later, and then I'll probably be on the graveyard shift again, so to speak. So let's agree, yet we have the rights, we're de-educated around them. The only thing you're taught is that when you're 18, you have to register to vote, but you don't have to vote. That's the way, that's the only thing which is taught to you in school around any sort of government. And if they're talking about politics, then you got to wait till you go to university for that, because you're not allowed to teach politics in school. However, I think that that is not the case, because I think that unfortunately some teachers preach what they believe. So their classes, their education is.
Can you imagine a bunch of citizens who knew their rights? They wouldn't be able to control them. They wouldn't be able to abuse them and get one over on them. They wouldn't need to bog them down with expensive lawyer fees and so on, because they wouldn't need lawyers, man. They're going to represent themselves, right? Well, they don't want to educate you. They don't want you to know anything because they can't control you, right?
Which is the reason why you have
educated man is not a good slave. You can't have an educated slave. He's just not, doesn't work.
Well, no,
right?
Yeah, okay. Let's not say slave, because slave means you don't get any sort of payment, and people who work, they work for a monetary gain.
Listen, right? When I tell you to shut the fuck up, and you better shut the fuck up, otherwise I'm going to put my foot down your throat, right? You are my subservient slave, if you like it or not. Whether I pay you or not is irrelevant, right? You do what I tell you to do. I'm the tyrant, right? Listen, you know, what gives one man the right over another man's life? Nothing, right? We live in this fucking country with the rule of law, and we fought and died. Our ancestors fought and died to preserve that rule of law. Now, if we start subverting it and changing it and adding things to it to suit this, what happens is the rule of law, it tips over, right? Because you can't have equal law for everyone and then start favoring, right? It doesn't work like that.
No, right? I agree. I don't disagree with you at all. We gave up our rights when we allowed Cromwell. Well, it wasn't just so much Cromwell. Cromwell didn't like the deal which the lords and the barons had. They wanted more power. So they created their own after he won. He created his own idea. The trouble was, suddenly it became corrupt, and he walked away from it because he recognised that what he created had become corrupt. And he knew it wouldn't work, and it hasn't worked. You know. Yeah, we are going to talk about what's been happening over in Gaza later on if Bear comes back, because I know he's passionate about it, and as you all know, I'm an advocate of free speech, quote unquote, within terms of service.
Grim, can I just add that? Sorry, mate. I was just going to add before I forget. I've got a fish brain. The laws were written to limit the scope of the authority, right, over citizens. They weren't written so the citizens can obey the laws, and they were, but they were specifically written to limit the scope of authority, right? Otherwise, we don't live in a free democratic society. We live in a dictatorship, right?
Yeah.
This is not what my ancestors sacrificed for, and I'm sure it isn't what everyone else's ancestors and so on sacrificed their lives and their freedoms for.
Okay, Outlaw. We actually pay to work. We pay the government. And that's another misconception. A slice of the cake.
Tax is not a debt, right? Even though they've turned it into a debt. Tax is a contribution. It was always a contribution. Now, each one of us pays a sum of tax for each thing we buy, right? And that contribution, not a debt, contribution, is supposed to be our share towards what it costs to actually run this government and this country, right? And all the services that we need. Now, what they do is they use every fucking skill that they've mastered, right, to find ways, imagine new ways of how to spend all that money and force us and change the narrative and create this constant need to feed the monster, right? When they're overspending and stealing money, basically, for lack of better words, from these public funds, right? Their incompetence knows no bounds, right? Every single one of them is guilty of ignorance, of incompetence, of stupidity, just lack of any knowledge of what they're supposed to be employed to do, right? And it's ridiculous. And this is why they're so afraid of cameras and auditors, because auditors and cameras, or at least those who are doing it for all the right reasons, expose these things, right? And highlight their
inadequacies.
Yeah, their fucking stupidness, basically, right? They're pathetic.
What
ridiculous.
Right. I've paid tax all my working life the same as anybody else who's been employed. If you're self-employed, then it's a little bit more different because you've got to explain what your expenses are, what you paid out for the business, and then what you've taken in. Don't forget the VAT, you're VAT registered. It is all a means of getting money into a central purse, which is supposed to, as Mello's pointed out there with his doom and gloom, because we know it doesn't happen. It's supposed to be us paying for the country to run. However, in reality, we are in more debt than
they're spending £500 million to put hats on their heads. They're sending £40 billion weapons that we don't have to Ukraine, and they get destroyed in one day. And then some of them end up in Africa somehow. And then there's just madness. It's ridiculous. We spent 20 odd million we give to fucking Macron, the French dude, right? That was supposed to help keep the migrants out, and instead of keeping the migrants out, we got an influx of migrants, right? So what the fuck are these people doing?
Just for
we might as well just slightly touch on it. Where do the influx of migrants come from?
Well, before we go there,
to find out.
Hang on. Before we go there, just want to point out that I've now got a link tree, which has got links for vigilante.media. It's got links to the website, and obviously it's got a link to here. I'm going to work it out, see whether or not I can afford to get more links in there, because then this becomes a cost. However, I do think it's important that I look at that, because I want to make sure that we can get as many people to use it, to pass it on, etc. This is about your network. This is the reason why I'm talking about it in. I started off with being the Karen around auditing, because that's what people are going to try and use against us. We are a community. We're not just a community of auditors. We've got people from different walks in life, but with one common cause, I believe, and that is that we want to take our freedom back, our rights back. We may disagree in how that is done. However, our aim is to do that. I don't necessarily agree with direct action, but there will come a day when we may need to and stand up on a physical side of things and literally fight for our rights, because the stormtroopers are going to be getting in the way, and it's illegal for stormtroopers to go on strike, but it's not illegal for them to just stand by and let people go through. But then you've got the military, which will be on standby. So,
do you know what the problem is, though, right, Grim? And the problem is, unfortunately, just within society in general, yeah, no one really cares too much, right? Because it don't affect them personally. So as long as they ain't affecting them personally, like, they ain't just gonna carry on. Which I get it. Yeah, I get it. Not everyone's got the time. Not everyone actually, like, one has got the time. Two, I don't know, can find the interest to a degree because they're sick of how negative everything is. Yeah. But everyone's got that attitude of, oh, it doesn't really affect me, so I'm just going to crack on. And when it does, but hang on a minute, like when it does, so when it does, you'll then want people to rally around and do something, right? So why have we got to wait until it does happen? I just don't get that. Like, and that, like I say, that's something I see in like society, and I sometimes call it complacency.
It's apathy, or complacency. People believe what they see in mainstream media. They believe that mainstream media is the only course. Jade, thanks for coming in. I have seen you. Oh, we've got pork chops, so you'll have something to say. We'll get the link out shortly. But all I wanted to do was to sort of highlight what, as we're already successful. We've got people joining the forum. We're getting some ideas in. We've got new links in there. There's a few other things which are going to be happening, hopefully, by the end of November.
It's got a bit of a new look as well. It's got a bit of a new side, a bit of a new look put to it.
Yeah. So everything's going along quite nicely. People are interacting and leaving messages. It's great. I enjoy going in, even though the funny ones. But I will say this: if we don't put differences to one side, we're never going to be able to be united against a common enemy.
Why? You could do that by having differences. You can still do that by having differences, because what you do is you learn from each other's differences to evolve yourself in your own ideology, man. Because neither you or me are correct, right? We could sit here now and have two different opposing views, but neither one of us are necessarily correct. However, there's certain things you might say that I might say that if you
I think you misunderstood what I was getting at. Right? We need to cross boundaries with it, where people believe that fighting for freedom is wrong. and they put everything in the way to try and stop it, because their idea of freedom is just towing the line. Let's not make any waves, not in my backyard, etc. That's why you have trolls. Trolls, that's the people who want to cause division and set people against each other. That's what their aim is. And I'm just putting it out there so that, you know, if anybody thinks that this is going to be a nice, easy ride, as we get bigger, because we will do, we'll become more organized, and we could end up being an organization. What's going to happen? As soon as we start getting to that sort of stage, we're going to end up attracting attention of serious trolls, not just the ones on that, oh, I don't like him, I think he's this, that, and the other. Man. Right? But I'm just letting you know, it's not going to be an easy ride for some people. We will do everything that we can do to support each other. And that also includes signposting for any mental health concerns, because I would say that quite a few people have mental health concerns, and it can get a bit rough for you. So yeah, there's ways and means of us being able to support each other with that, without getting into any sort of diagnosis or telling people what they should do, etc. It's all right, Bear turning around saying, you know, sod the trolls. But Bear's been there.
I wouldn't even mention them, man.
No, but you know where I'm coming from, Bear. It can be a very
get the trolls. Ride. Look, all these people in the chat that are engaging. So fuck the trolls. Yeah. That's where that comes from. I like that. They ain't even worth talking about, man. Leave them at the door.
To be honest, what I would like to see is people moving around everyone that's streaming, not just staying in one channel.
In other words, piss off out of mine and get to Grimm's and Eyes on the Audit.
I've not even had a chance to look. I've been too busy.
No, I don't know who's in who, but if none of you are in mine, you best all get back out.
I mean, we're lucky. We see all the comments in one area. You know, it is going to be an open panel, UK lady. We're going to open it up shortly. I've got within the chat. There's a few people from the States. They've got a different way of looking at things, and they've come across things. Trolls lives matter. I've heard that before, Jade. Apparently, we have to look after them when they're under the bridges, and make sure that they're fed, preferably BS. But if you can convert a troll, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, depending on what the troll's up to. But what is a troll? I mean, I don't think I've ever been trolled. I think it's to be honest, I think it's a form of I want to be like you. To be honest, because all they're doing is highlighting your channel at the end of the day. So there you go. Let's welcome the trolls. And you know, obviously, if they go too far, then we have to sort something out. You know, don't like banning people. This is the only trouble. But if we have to, we have to. Yeah, but we can always move into other directions. We've got the welcome room, which is open more now.
People are always dropping in there now, man. It's good. Especially with it now being in the forum, and people can just go to the forum, click the link, and bang, they're in Jitsi. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, as I say, the interactions are great. It's you know, I've had people make comment to me about the Grim Reaper website, and they want some things re-looked at, shall we say, which is good feedback. You know, the Grim Reaper radio show.com is going to be around for another year. So is Britain Audits and a few others that we've got that are part and parcel. We've just renewed those for another 12 months. The main ones, we're looking at renewing a couple of others as well. Because I personally, I believe it's the right thing to do. We've put a lot of work in. We've got to a stage now where we really need participation and interaction. We've had a couple of people who have offered their skills, which is great. I'm all for that when they get the opportunity and we get things in. Hello there, Dragon. Nice to see you. But yeah, I mean, in short, we're doing really well. I want to thank everyone for taking part and joining in and supporting us with this. But please go out, talk to people, tell them what's going on. Education is how we're going to win this. We're not going to win it on a battlefield. We're going to win it by educating people, because if we're educated, then they can't win. The reason why they're winning at the moment is because we're not educated as a society. We are the conspiracy theorists. We're the ones who spread doom and gloom, which is actually incorrect. We don't. There's a lot of people in here who were standing up for their rights when we had precautions put into place to control something which you were never going to control in the first place. Being restricted to your house, not having parties, not being able to enjoy yourselves. Oh, you must watch ITV or BBC for the 5 o'clock updates every day. Thank God they stopped. If you look over in America, by the way, you can see Trump every day. I think he's going to walk the next election next year. If I'm being honest, I don't think it's right, but I think it's going to happen. Which sort of leads us into the international flavour. I'd like people who support us, go and have a look at some of the other channels that we support. I've done a couple of promos regarding it. Go and say hello. If you like what you see, it's up to them. If you don't like, then you don't like. You don't have to go back. If you like Bear Britain, say hello to him. He's dropped out again, I noticed. So, what's happening in the news? Anything relevant? Any copies being dragged down? I wonder. There was one which was put in Discord where a copper had filmed himself mistreating a child, and he got sent down for 6 years, 9 months, which I think is a very short sentence. And I don't really think it sends a clear message. And maybe it'll be appealed. The prosecution may appeal it. It'd be nice if they did. It'd be also nice if the sentence was reviewed and increased. Because at the moment we've got no choice. We have to house these people and pay for them out of our taxes. And I disagree with that personally. I think they'd be good at the trials for euthanasia to see whether it can become legal for certain categories anyway. But unfortunately, we also have ex-offenders, so to speak, predators, who appear on YouTube and get into auditing and give us all a bad name, unfortunately. But those lovely people need to be exposed so that we can hound them out. UK lady likes your avatar.
Mine?
Yes.
It's
It's a badge.
I've been out today filming, and it's my my souvenir.
It's a badge of honor.
You could call it a badge of honor.
Yeah. I think it's a badge of honor, personally. That's it. There you go. Perfect. Right, I've not had a chance to say hello to everybody. My apologies. I have been gasbagging. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Bear talk, let Bear loose on you, because I know deep down he's got a yearning to talk about something which is very close to him at the moment. I don't know why. Maybe he'll explain it a little bit more.
I don't want to go into it too much, to be honest, man, because I'll rant and probably say a lot of stuff I ain't allowed to say. However, what I will say, what I will actually say, because I think it's a fair point to make, because as I said to you, I've said many a times when I'm trying to go down this new route of going out and doing investigative journalism or some form of journalism, right, and covering political issues, I have found when I look back sometimes what I do is I share too much of my own opinion, where as somebody in the media, that wouldn't be what you would do. You'd sit more on the fence. You're there just to report. So obviously with the migrant hotels, I have made it quite clear that I don't agree with what's going on there. And I stand by that, by the way. I do stand by that. However, I have in recent videos that I've done at migrant hotels, because I wanted to kind of come across only in a fair way, right? So even if I disagree with something, just to show you what I disagree with is no different than the same ideology as really the mainstream media, because I'm only giving you, that would be then my side, right? I'm only giving you the side that I want you to see rather than two sides. So when people will turn around and say to me sometimes when I go to these hotels, you're a bit soft with them, why are you so nice to them? Because as far as I'm concerned, they're human beings. Just because I don't agree with the what's going on or anything like that, in my opinion, they're all human beings. So in the last few videos, I've tried to touch on the fact that ask yourself where all these people are coming from in the world, what parts of the world they're coming from, and then why they're coming from there. And some are in war-torn countries, or somewhere over the years they have been. Why are they war-torn countries? We're all led to believe it's because these Muslims fight between themselves. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen, because it does. However, the Western world, us, the United States, unfortunately, have a lot to answer for over the years. And we've gone into these countries and absolutely torn them to shreds and abused them and taken what we've wanted from those countries and then fucked them off. Unfortunately, when that happens, that's when you get refugees, people seeking asylum. So the other side of this is that you can't really blame the individuals, because their countries are fucked. Yeah. And as I say, when you look at the bigger picture, not us individually as citizens of our own country, right, but our government, that's the shit that they play with people. And that's how you end up with, as I say, refugees. And it's the same here with what you've seen in recent days with the attacks in Israel, okay, against the attacks by Hamas. Now, all of a sudden, you're hearing all about it and how it's such a bad thing Israel's being attacked. But what you don't hear about is every single day, women, men, and children dying, being raided from their homes at night. All sorts of shit happening to these people in Palestine. And it's been happening for a long, long time. And these people didn't just kind of turn up here overnight. They haven't been here like decades, hundreds of years, or they've been there a long time. And if you actually go and look at the history of that, Palestine, what it was to now, is not much left of it. And with what's going on now, I would say there's a good chance that whatever is left of Palestine's on the chance of being wiped out. And when you've got companies based in this country, Israeli companies that Elbit, for instance, that I've covered before. Let's take Elbit Systems. Elbit Systems used to make motorbike engines, I believe, or they used to make some kind of vehicle engines, really good ones. Yeah, they weren't shit. Now, the Israelis drone company, realized this, Elbit. They realized this and thought, hey, we can make engines, but rather than make engines for motor vehicles, we'll make them for drones. These are the same drones that the Israelis use day in, day out, night in, night out, to not just surveillance these people, but sometimes also drop missiles on people. There's something like 20 or 22 important like buildings, infrastructure like schools and hospitals, absolutely been wiped out. And these companies that are where these drones are being made that are responsible for these attacks are happening right here on our doorstep. Now tell me that's right. So a lot of people might look at Palestine and they might have a different opinion and think, nah. But I would say if that's the case, really please go do your research and look back through history. And in fact, I don't want to say too much I'm not going to say anything about the Israeli people, because we all know that if you dare criticize the Jews in any way, you're seen as anti-Semitic. So I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get any of us shut down. So I'm not going to comment on that. But I would say again, go and do your research on Israel and what they're about, and what it would be like as a Muslim or a Christian person to live in Israel right now in 2023.
Surprisingly enough, you brought I agree with most of what you say. And this situation has been going on for many, many years, and it's a political football over in Gaza. And again, it's been treated exactly the same thing. Is it a deflection from what is actually going on? I think
maybe, but just tell me that you've already got a deflection with Ukraine war. Yeah. So explain that to me. Why, like the Ukraine war and Putin's a really bad guy and all this, right? But why doesn't Palestine get mentioned on the media on the regular? Why doesn't that happen? Is it because of when I spoke to somebody today, which you'll see in a later interview, in a video this week, where the guy feels like it's purely a racist. It's racist. It's racist. There's a form of racism there to that, in my opinion. I agree with the guy.
Okay,
agree with the guy. So you're all up in arms about the Ukraine war, but this has been going on for many fucking years, and some people are probably sat there like, huh? Palestine? What's that? You know what I mean?
It's not been in news for a long, long time, Palestine, in any way, shape, or form. Yes, please go and there's been loads of stuff on it, even on YouTube. Educational values, shall we say. One of the problems, I think, that as a society, we do have this. Oh, yeah, I agree with you, but it doesn't affect me at the moment, so I'm not going to worry about it. Or if there's going to be, God forbid, a hotel near us being used for refugees, whether it be legal or not, they'll say, oh, well, we've got to house them somewhere, but I don't want them here. So it's not in my backyard type thing. I think as a nation, we need to be educated. If you're against the migrants, you need to be able to
back that. You need to back your reasons why you hate them.
Explain the reasons why you would be. For me, I'm not against or for. I'm against the fact that there's no proper identification checks.
But again, listen, they might be throwing them in the sea or whatever before they get here. But again, I ask you, if it was the other way round and you had to do certain things in order to get yourself into a country and blag your way in you probably would, right?
Yeah, what I'm getting at though,
so it's your government. It's your government that allows them in and then puts them somewhere. It's your government, mate. It's the same government that fucking tore their country up.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think that there's a much bigger issue, and that is why the governments aren't tackling homelessness in the same way. There is no reason why the families that are homeless due to
I can answer that.
Various circumstances, why they can't be put up in 4-star hotels.
I can answer. Well, listen, maybe you can put them up if you want, but however, I would say, from my experience with even when I was homeless, I obviously would speak to other homeless people, and there were some people, mate, that I kind of got the impression that they would never really settle down in a home. Even if you give them a home, I'll give them a couple of years, they're probably back on the street.
Yeah, but the thing, what I'm getting, but that's down to
people don't want the help, mate, is what I'm trying to say. Not everyone wants this, not as black and white as it seems, that street business.
What I'm not saying that we should go around and lift people off the street and put them into hotels. Right? Those who want a roof over their head, right? There is plenty of money available. It's just that it's not put in the right place. Hello, broken fish. Fishing, I should say. My concern is the way money is not diverted to the right reasons, right areas. And who knows, in 2 years, 3 years' time, it could be something else where it's being diverted into the wrong place. But what about people who are... You've got institutionalization, which is where people will reoffend and they go back to prison, right? For starters. And then you've got it's a form of institutionalization if you've been homeless for years. You become independent and you like sleeping under the stars. That's your choice. But I think the government can help people out on damn sight better than they are doing. That's my viewpoint on things. With regards to that. What's this? Quote, Grim, you said we should all stick up against for our rights. So why don't the so-called immigrants stay in their own country and fight and stand up for their own rights? Because some of them have got dictatorships, and you got literally the might of the army. It's an emotive subject, and part of the problem I think that we have is just the way that our borders are open. I think there should be more control, to be honest. There should be proper checks done when people come into the country, and they're not allowed out shouldn't be allowed out into the community until such time as the checks have come through and they've been identified. Because we don't know what the past is. We don't know what laws they may have broken or not broken, etc. Trojan horses, what it's called. I thought it was a barge. But I mean, Bear pointed something out not so long ago. If you look at the age range and the fact that the majority of them are male, I did see a video actually on a place where families are put in, which I thought was good.
That place I done. I think it might have been the last one I've done. Madeley Court Hotel, last one I uploaded.
I thought
that was for families though. Yeah, that are that big. We actually don't have anything big enough, especially social housing wise, to accommodate these people. Their families are that big that we just physically do not have those kind of properties. So how long do they stay there? The locals think that they're just going to keep it an ongoing thing, or at least as long as the council will pay for it, that it's just going to go on for the foreseeable.
Yeah, the council or the government, one way or the other. At the end of the day, money can be printed. It's fictional anyway. If you look at a £10 note or any note, it says, "I promise to pay the bearer." It's a promise, that's it. Nothing else. Anyway, I'm going to slope off shortly and leave everything in Bear's capable hands for whatever length of time. Hello, we've got UK lady in the back. Hang on a second, I'm waiting to find the button. I'm not used to bringing people up. We'll leave that down to
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Awake at the moment.
I was just wanting to see if I could offer a perspective as somebody that immigrated here from a non-European country and then went through the process of being vetted and paying all the extortionate fees.
Yeah, please do, actually. Because obviously you have to go through a legal process. So what is that?
It's a very long, tedious legal process, and they've changed it quite a lot throughout the years. For non-EU citizens, so anybody that is not from a Commonwealth country or non-EU citizen, it's a whole different process. You have to go through massive background checks. You have to pay lots of fees. You have to show up at immigration quite often. I think it took me around 5 to 7 years and about £35,000 in the end.
Okay, now.
Yeah. But if I was from an EU country or, from a previously Commonwealth country, I would have no problems. It would just be a few weeks. I'd just walk in.
See, that's
So
crazy.
how do we feel about that?
Well, I won't say it's to say, if you go to America on holiday, you don't need a visa. You just need to fill out a form, pay $21, I think it is, which is peanuts compared to £35,000.
Yeah. Well, that's to live here. That's not to just visit, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but
and that was just over a long period of time. It wasn't just one big shot.
But if somebody wanted to emigrate to America, it would be a lot easier for them because they're coming from the UK.
They still have strict rules and regulations about that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they still have the vetting process, and there's certain criteria of people who committed crimes that wouldn't be allowed in.
Yeah.
They would just say no.
If you have certain criminals records, you can't come in to visit even.
Yes. Not that I'm going to suggest for 1 second that I thought it would be a problem. It's interesting how quickly, or the lack of communication, I should say, that comes through to let you know whether or not you've been accepted. But then it's down to customs on the day.
I've had friends here that have married somebody from Zimbabwe that have had a lot of problems as well.
Yeah.
Local saying that if you want to immigrate to the USA now, you have to have had the COVID jab as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that doesn't apply for visiting.
Doesn't apply to the migrants either.
Yeah. No, I agree totally. And there's no way of confirming whether they were inoculated or they weren't either.
That's something I'm curious about. Are they making all of these people come over getting inoculations? Because we have other things to think of besides COVID. We have tuberculosis and MMR.
You can't force someone to have a jab.
No, of course not. But I don't know if they're being offered.
They don't want it. They tried it, but apparently they don't want it, and they're too embarrassed to force them in public because
I think part of it is also on religious grounds.
They shouldn't be forced anyway, should they?
No, nobody should be forced.
I wouldn't be saying any, no matter who you are, where you're from, to advise. I wouldn't advise that.
I think that's a violation of human rights if they try to force it.
I think it's a violation.
But they are coercing the people, so they do manage to get a few.
Oh, yeah. Well, even now, they're doing it on an annual basis or biannual. trying to get people to do it who fit their criteria of people who would benefit, and that's the way they put it, would benefit from having inoculation.
Yes, were they trying to convince people with rewards?
Yes, one of them is called life. You've got a better chance of living.
Well, I do know that some boroughs were offering more money for people to give inoculations in the vaccine
They
to
should
people
start
in poor
offering
areas.
free weed. They
No,
started
I
offering
remember that. Or at the beginning of that, weren't they giving like Uber discounts and shit like that?
Yes.
yeah.
They were, weren't they? They
McDonald's,
were really like trying to.
McDonald's. In America, there were dispensaries that were giving away free weed.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
That again, where it's legal, that's not a bad idea for some. I suppose some people will take it.
Get the jab, get some free weed.
Yeah.
Works.
But I do know the government was giving extra funding to people that go into ethnic communities and give the
Yes.
jabs. They were getting more funding, and I think that's wrong as well.
Yes, that's a form of racism, but they don't call it racism. They call it positive discrimination. I didn't know you could be positive.
Do you guys remember when they conscripted the army in? They wrote the army in to go door to door.
Yeah. Well, they're going to rope the army into anything when they're short of people.
It wasn't short. That was a pure intimidation tactic. You open your door and you've got these uniformed goons standing at your door telling you got to do this test, mate. You know, you're going to shit yourself, bro. The only thing that was missing was the rifles. But
Well, why can't they use the military staff when they're short of doctors and nurses? I want to know that.
Well, it's all
They
about
can
the
use them
money.
for that stuff. But why can't they bring in doctors and nurses from the military when we have shortages in the NHS?
Because they weren't forcing everybody to take an experimental vaccine that was dependent on them earning billions of pounds in profits for their shares.
True. And that's what it's all about.
Well, I'm
Control and
speaking.
profit.
I can only speak from personal experience. I had a long chat with Mrs. Reaper, and after the episode that she had in hospital, where we didn't know whether she was going to walk out or be carried out, not long after she had the second jab, I think it was off the top of my head, we both decided that we're not having any more because the risk is too great. And I look at things from a risk point of view. And whether I agree or disagree, I think it's down to the individual to make their own decision. And it's only between them and their arm.
Freedom of choice, man.
Yeah. I'm not going to slag somebody off because they've had it or they haven't. You know,
Yeah.
I'm
People
not
make their own decisions.
I'm not in agreement for that. And I've seen a few people who are still saying that they're true. Because
I'll be honest, I've been guilty of that. However, since I've spoke to like lots of different people with different, like in different scenarios, and some, like I say, man, the pure intimidation tactics. Some people have no choice because it was their livelihood on the line.
Well, I got an email. I'll probably
A lot of people being.
I remember. I'll read it out on Friday. Obviously, not all of the details, but the context of it. And you can make your own mind up whether you think that it's intimidating. It's, in my opinion, I will say this: it's trying to put the fear into people.
Yeah.
That's, I wouldn't say intimidating. Some people would see it as that. But
Coercion.
I've been. The funny thing is, my wife has more medical issues than I do, yet I get the invitation before her. Work that one out, folks, because I never did. And she's really cheesed off with me because I got an invitation and she didn't. It's so I said to her, look, if you don't reply to it, you don't do anything, it'll just go in your junk mail. Don't worry about it.
I'll send her my invitation if she'd like it.
Oh, thank you.
You have mine?
I get them a lot, and I'm so irritated with getting them because I sign out and opt out of everything.
Trouble is now with the NHS, everything's interlinked.
Provided that you click that button.
It's only
Listen, if anyone out there is needs a jab, they're all welcome to mine. I mean, I haven't used any of them, so that was it 4 or 5 now. So there's at least 4 or 5 jabs out there that I haven't used. You're welcome to them. You can have mine anytime you want.
Yeah, I mean, the same goes for me. But, you know, at the end of the day, how many people would have the flu inoculation every year? The way that's pushed, you know, it's just the way that I see things after living a week of hell and back. I would say my opinions changed dramatically. And I don't blame any individual. It is just the way that the propaganda machine is set up. And that goes for everything, really.
Well, that's exactly what they want us to do. They want to divide and conquer and get us fighting.
Yeah, I mean, the BBC have now got a reporter that will break down everything that's on social media and tell you the facts against the fiction.
Oh my goodness!
I think they got it the wrong way round, because
BBC of all people. It's a joke. The BBC are going to tell us what between what fact is and what fiction is.
No, they know more about who they're employing.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, they can keep all their drama in their soaps. As far as
I'm still waiting for the story they want to spin, how and why Bill Gates gave him £8 million. I mean, how many TVs does he have?
Oh, that was just that was a donation, allegedly. That's right. Yeah.
We don't. Somebody should let someone know at the BBC that they're publicly funded, because they don't take funding from corporations, right?
Mm-hmm. So,
supposedly, yeah, because
that's why they hire out contractors.
Remain unbiased and not be influenced by sponsors.
Yeah, I have to apologise. I have been swearing. I promise not to do it again. I'll try and use a different phrase rather than BB. Maybe mainstream is a better point of view. I won't be a part of it, and I'd rather find out what I believe to be the truth. And I'd rather do my own research, to be honest, and that way I can make an informed opinion and decision. I think that's the way I would put it. Whereas I've got actually, UK lady, as a country many years ago, we gave access, shall we say, for the Constitution to be written when they kicked I can't remember what the name of the king was off the top of my head, but they kicked their asses over some tea, allegedly, and
tea in Texas.
Yeah, and we ended up getting booted out. As a result of that, you had the Constitution, and when you're in America, once you get past customs, or whatever they call it, over there, you are then protected. You have the same rights under the Constitution as anybody else. If you're a visitor and you go through the proper channels, that is, right? We don't have that. And I think that's something that we should have.
That's something I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, because, well, you've got freedom of speech. We don't have freedom of speech. We don't have freedom of press.
We have freedom of press.
No, we don't, because the government dictate what the press deliver. I'm talking about mainstream.
Yeah, there are gatekeepers, but we have the free press is fundamental to a democratic society. We have free press in this country. It's a human right. It's a natural law. They can't take away our free press or right to free press.
No, what they can do is they can place.
What theirs to take.
they can put restrictions on reporting. And you never
They
hear-
do, however. I mean, you just got to look at Julian Assange, but it's unconstitutional. It's against
Yeah.
our own United Kingdom constitutional law. But they do it anyway because, you know, in the UK, they do what the fuck they want over here.
They always have done.
They want to spend £1 billion so some stupid wanker can put a hat on his head. They'll spend it.
Well,
Half the
now,
country-
Or millions on
right.
HS2 that'll never be developed.
sorry, I missed that.
All we have to do is look at the HS2 project that they've cancelled. How many millions have we spent on that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mean the high-speed railway?
But that hospital, the Nightingale hospitals.
Oh,
yeah. What about the one that they set up down at the O2 Arena?
Did it ever get used? There was one in Birmingham. I don't think it ever was used.
God, you're basic, sir.
Based down.
Sorry,
No.
everybody.
Pulling the Vincent Vega.
They like spending.
I haven't got brown shoes.
You make a
So,
mistake,
Thank
right? You pay for it. When you make a mistake, you pay for it.
Yeah.
I think that the taxpayer always pays for it, but what I'm getting at really is we as a nation follow what we're told to do. And when you stand up against that tyranny, that's when they put, you know, you put your head above the parapet, it's going to get shot. And we're putting our heads up in the way. We are standing up to
They don't pay tax. They don't pay their fair share in tax. They
No,
make
look at Starbucks
decisions.
and Costa.
They make their decisions, right, based on the amount of profit that they're going to make, right?
in their
And-
private companies that they've got shares in,
Yeah,
allegedly.
and then they don't pay their share of tax because we know they all live under tax havens and shit, but they demand that we pay their share of tax.
Yeah.
So it's the ridiculous. These people
wait
are.
for- After the next general election, wait for your base rate tax to increase on the lower levels, because it won't
Tax will
change the higher
increase,
level.
guaranteed. Doesn't matter who gets in.
That's what I'm saying. After the next general election, and it'll be done on the basis, oh, the government needs it to pay for this, that, and the other, etc., and to try and bring inflation down. That's a great one.
Well, they'll have another crisis because their
there will be.
emergency powers
There will
are coming to close. So they have to enact these crises in order to extend their emergency use powers.
Mm.
Right. So, yeah, there's people that like to play the game and they do it legally. Right?
Mm. Yeah, by the way, I watched the video that Showcase Audits did. And I must admit, I thought it was really good.
Well made, right?
Well made.
Yeah.
I've yet to decide if it was in favour or not in favour.
He was clearly taking the piss, man. Honestly,
It was so funny.
Yeah.
It's an hour long, but I tell you, it's the way it's been put together. You don't realise
Really
it's
well
an hour long.
it's an epidemic, crime epidemic.
Photography.
Spreading across the world right now. You know,
Yeah,
big problem.
Epidemic. That's a good
Yeah.
word for it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a trend at the moment. The social media auditors, they call themselves. They're on this crime spree of
Photon.
shooting innocent public officials in the course of their duty all day, every day, creating these disastrous, sometimes, they're shooting them all day, right? Every day. They keep shooting them with their cameras.
Yeah.
I was gonna say what?
And there's so many casualties.
I dropped the ashtray when you said that.
The snowflakes.
They're assault, these weapons of mass exposure, yeah. These weapons of mass destruction, they can destroy a public official's job in an instant.
I don't know
Wow.
which chat that's in dating, but
One good
I've
video.
not seen one of those in ages.
whoever's chat it's in, can it be taken
He's in
out?
Bears. Or it was. He's taking it out.
Yeah, it's gone out now. Good. Anne Marie, spot on again, as always. So yeah, I mean, all I'm concerned about is that we don't fall back on our laurels, so to speak, and we keep up.
AJM's right, man. Although it's right, you can call it a craze. It was made for a reason. I don't think people should lose sight of that reason.
These crazed lunatic criminal gang element, organized criminals with assault cameras, and they go around shooting police officers all day, 60 frames a second.
60 frames a second.
It's bad, man. It's bad. I mean, the police officers all day, they're getting shot at every day, man. 60 frames.
It's not like they're pointing tasers at people all day.
Yeah, I mean, it was well put together, and if someone could do a British version, it'd be fantastic.
They ain't really all day, though. So I mean, like they are a bunch of namsy pamsies. Like when you think about it, and like you might sit there and go, "Oh, yeah, actually, there's loads of auditing channels." On the grand scheme of things, not really. It's only a very even like the following of auditing. It's not. Even worldwide, it's actually in the grand scheme of things still quite a small.
Well, this is where education's important, you know, and as I say, word of mouth.
But some of the biggest channels, they're only about half 500,000 subscribers anyway. So, you know,
and that's like US. That's more US side.
Yeah, you know. All the channels that
get a bigger audience, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, you've got your latluster's and your audits. They're in the millions, but no, they're not really. They're not auditors, are they? I mean, audit is just not really. You know, he's just sitting there commenting on what.
Well, you can say the same with here's the deal. You know,
not actually going out there and confronting anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I've never said that I'm a creator, I'm a spokesperson, I'm a mouthpiece, and whatever you want to call it. I am not an auditor. I am a supporter of auditors because I believe that what they're doing is right. I'm not saying that all auditors.
I'd say you're more of an advocate.
Yeah. Okay. All right, an advocate. But I've been called all sorts of things, you know, from a conspiracy theory to whatever, you know. And then you got people.
Did anybody see that video with a copper called the guy mental?
Yeah, we watched that the other night. Yeah.
Say that shit again.
Why he got battered?
Say what again?
Say that shit again, he said to him. He slapped him on the floor. He got up, he said, "You want some more?" He put him on the floor again.
Hey, up, broken fishing.
Hey, what's up? How you doing,
Hello,
guys?
Broken fishing.
Hey, as a guy that used to live in Arizona and has watched friends of mine and had myself beat and put in the hospital by these out of control police officers, what is being done by some of them, like Direct D and the others, where they're pushing the envelope and they're getting change to start happening, is needed. Because I was put in the hospital for 2 days for telling an officer no at the age of 14 that I didn't have to give him my ID. And that was in the 80s, and it has continued forward since then. So we got cop watchers, we got guys who are confronting them and trying to make the change by confronting them. Yes, Direct D can be a little abrasive at times, but all these guys are needed, no matter where they're at. It's the fake ones that only show themselves in the video and aren't showing the way the officers are acting.
I've got a lot of respect for Direct D.
I do too. He's from the state where I almost got killed at. It wasn't funny. It was bad, and no lawyer would take up the case because they were too scared of what would happen to them because they were local. They didn't tell me go to the other end of the state. They just said, no, you're not going to win this, which was a lie. I was beat for nothing and put in the hospital. And I have 4 or 5 of my friends. One of them will forever be, and I hate to use this word, but stupid. They beat him with the billy club 5 times in the head, and he's never been the same. He doesn't know where he's at half the time. And when he does, he's saying really stupid shit and trying to get himself in trouble. Sorry about the language, Grim. But
No. Language isn't an issue. It's only when we go beyond, we say.
yeah, I
The
know.
only person I need to control to a certain extent is Bear. But this is why I'm not. Listen, I'm not going to take the piss out of him. I'm giving him a night off to change.
I was about to say, come on, man. I fucking come on.
No, out of respect,
David,
Bear.
I was
David,
out
right.
on a mission, yeah. Still managed to make sure I made it back here about 10 minutes before we went live.
Yeah, exactly. You are committed. I mean, you need to be committed. No, you are committed.
Oh, and thank you guys for bringing up the subject, the couple subjects I've heard as I've been watching what's going on over in Crazy Town right now with what happened over Saturday. But thanks for bringing up the subject. I mean, the other subject wasn't it immigration? 151 known terrorists on the watch list in the last quarter were caught crossing the U.S. border into Texas, Arizona, and California. How many do you think they didn't catch when they're sending the cartels are pushing this and sending hundreds at a time? How much drugs do you think? How much fentanyl do you think got across our borders because we're too busy chasing the hundreds of others, and they used knowing tactics to get this stuff in here. Oh, we'll do the wag the dog. Go chase these guys, and we're going to move this right through while you're chasing them.
For sure.
Well, I must admit,
I mean-
the war on drugs. I've never seen any drugs arrested yet.
There's
Or
there's
shot.
it's not working. It's not working.
I know. Sorry.
I know.
I've
I
got
get
a
it
warped sense
too.
of humour. I've got a
You're
warped
being
sense of humour.
facetious.
I do too. It never worked. There's tunnels on the Mexican border with the U.S. just in Arizona.
Well, this is the reason why
I knew of 5 of them.
Oh, well, this is the reason why a wall wouldn't work. They just tunnel under it. I said that when I first heard about it. Or it'll get broken down. I think, in America, you do have a massive border issue. Considering we are a small island and we're
You
surrounded.
guys got it bad too.
Yeah,
I see the news reports.
Yeah, but we're surrounded by water, right?
You'd think that we'd have a
it
better Navy.
it
with
doesn't
Germans.
help
You
when
think-
you have. It
The
doesn't help
Germans
when you
never
have.
invaded us.
It
right?
doesn't help when you have guys that are sitting on the rudder and in the rudder gears of major ships crossing the ocean, and they jump on the wrong one. Thought they were going to Europe or Britain or America. They got on the wrong ship's rudder and were caught in Brazil, and they asked to go back to Africa because they were in Brazil. And that's all over the news too. I thought that was crazy. Sitting on a rudder for a week and a half, 2 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah, but what I was getting at is, as an island, we've never been invaded, not in any great way. The last time there was an attempt of an invasion, it was the German army, right, back in the 40s. But now we have an open door policy. We don't defend in any way, shape, or form. And this is where
the reason
I
for
would
that,
say-
Grim, is because
Let-
the
let me-
enemy is gone.
I was going to say, the reason for that is that we're letting in youngsters fighting age, and we could be letting the enemy in through the back door, but quite openly. The government's allowing us to do it.
Well, how I got a question. How many reports do you see of those people on trucks and hiding on the trains that come through the tunnel? I've
Listen,
seen
guys,
reports
it's not
of
the
it.
enemy. The enemy that's
Is the
sneaking in through the
elites?
back door is not the enemy that you need to be focused on. The enemy is the ones that have infiltrated our governments and who are making those decisions, not
I
against our will. That's the enemy. That's the real enemy, not the enemy that they're going to use as cannon fodder to destroy our way of life, right? The
Oh,
enemy, the
they,
real enemy, are the ones that are making these decisions, incentivizing these people to come over here, right? That's the real enemy. They're the ones that have created this perfect storm, and we're about to reap the rewards from their orchestrated disaster.
All done by design.
All by design.
By design.
allegedly.
So
WEF
what's
actually, Dave Bruce, they ran out of water 2 days
government.
before they were spotted by the Brazilian Coast Guard. They were begging for water. It's not. You can see the footage. It's right on the YouTube. You can see the guys sitting on the rudder in video.
Yeah. Mr. Beckett says it perfectly. Imported division created by.
Thank you very much, JG Beckett, for the logo that you've made for us. It's I just put one up. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but yeah, keep it coming, guys.
What, in the forum?
Yeah, I just put it up now. That's why I was a bit quiet.
I'll have a look. I'll have a little look while I'm sat here.
Right, guys, I'm going to leave you in capable hands of co-hosts, etc. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Dan Hill from here.
have a good night.
And I'll probably be around any time from 1 o'clock again. But that's just the way I sleep. So I'll catch you again soon. Friday, we're having the normal show, so to speak, leading up to Oktoberfest. But more about that on Friday. Right, I'll see you all again. In the meantime, peace, everybody, and carry on what you're doing because it's absolutely fantastic. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Good night, Grim.
Peace
All
out,
right,
Grim.
All right, guys. I'm going to jump to. I just wanted to come up and tell you thanks for the subject and point out some of the stuff that's going on here that's been going on since before I was a kid, especially in Arizona. It's bad down there. They think that they have all the rights and we're their servants. That's the way it seems to me. And I've been part of it when I was a kid. I moved out of Arizona because of it. You guys all have a good night and thank you.
Yeah, bro.
See you later.
Have a good night.
Take care, man. Thanks for coming on,
Yeah.
bro.
Good night,
Yeah,
mate.
no problem.
God bless
Bye-bye.
you.
Good night, mate. Right.
What fucking rabbit hole you taking us down tonight? This is where we start going down rabbit holes, isn't it?
I should have asked you, is it okay if I smoke while I'm on your
Guys, listen.
feed?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually a requirement. We should put it as a stipulation, is that you need smoking when you're on here.
Calms our
Not
nerves.
smoking, you're barred.
I was going to say something, but I don't want to repeat somebody's catchphrase and upset anybody. Barred for life.
Yeah, here's the deal.
Here's the deal. Go on.
Here's the deal. Catch me outside. How about that?
All right, Vicky. Whoa. She made a music career out of that, didn't she?
I think so. It's kind of famous now, isn't it?
Yeah. Or am I thinking of the Catch Me Outside girl?
Yeah, catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah, no, it's because I've got fucking. Do you not just want to open Jitsi instead? And send everyone over there?
With the Jitsi, yeah, Jitsi is open. Guys, if you don't know already, the Jitsi room is open every day, and you can link it. you can click the link directly from the forum. So it's either at the top you see Jitsi, or on the left sidebar, or even in the forum. There's plenty of places now you can click on the link and join us. And the room, all welcome, is open every day. So you should be able to find either
Mellow, go in and out like
something in there all the time.
Hang on, I'll even put the link for it in the chat. Big Geo fucking jump in. I know he will. Jitsi, look at him. Jitsi. His little fucking Jitsi freak. What?
It is a good app.
You put the StreamYard link.
No, man. What? I know.
Anne Marie put it up. The Jitsi. Just put the StreamYard link up.
Anne-Marie, stick it in again for me, please, a couple of times. Look, because I've spammed. Well, that sounded very wrong, yeah.
I know, I was about to.
She knows what I mean. I know that StreamYards were just, what can I say? Type it in a few more times. Paste it in a few more. Jesus Christ, I'm just going to show. I'm going to dig myself a right big hole here. That's the one.
And you can also get the link from the forum. So if you go into the forum, you should see it right at the top, in the top bar, or even on the side bar. It's an all welcome room. It's open every day.
AJM, come on, bro.
Right, I'm going to close this out and meet you guys over there.
All right, cool, guys. Yeah, we'll all go over there. Sweet.
All right. I'll see you over there.
No worries, man. Sweet. I'll shut this down and send everyone over. Yeah, I'll stick the link in again. Oh, no. I haven't even got the link, so what I'm on about, I'm going to try and get the link myself as well. Because then I can do some editing, bro, and I'm probably not even going to stay up. It's 10 o'clock now. Shattered.
Okay.
Copy.
I'm there.
I should have copied it. If it hasn't copied it, I give up.
I'm in there now. Anyway.
Oh, that's the Vigilante Media one. What am I doing? I give up, people. I just give up. I give up.
Vigilante Media. If you go into Vigilante Media, the link is at the top. You can click on the Jitsi room.
There is
Yeah.
But again, although I have just put that Vigilante Media in, guys, if you're not already, sign up to the forum, man. It's looking quite cool. Like I say, everyone's interacting in there, which is good. And all these links are in there, so I wouldn't have to keep giving you these links. You can just go to the forum. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys. As I say, I would have stayed live a bit longer, but as you can see, I can barely string a sentence together. So, peace out, and I'll see everyone over there. God bless.
I'm going to duck out. See you guys later. See you over there.
Take care.
Bye.
See you in a bit, mate. See, I can't even fucking get my words out. Take care, Mellows, mate. And yeah, there we go, guys. I need to put some videos together and do some stuff, and I can't do it here. So, take care, people. God bless. Thanks for coming in. Jump into Jitsi.
Sorry, mate. I was just trying to leave StreamYard. It's okay.
See you later, mate. We'll kick him. We'll kick him, people. We'll kick him. But everyone get over what Anne-Marie says. No pressure to speak in Jitsi either. Can talk, listen, or chat in the comment section too. You don't even have to have your camera on, people. It's a free-for-all. But yeah, take care, people, yeah.